War Thunder features a huge variety of different munitions, and figuring out how they all compare can be surprisingly difficult. Recently, the game received a new tool that makes comparing guided missiles much easier. So, let's put it to use and see what the best ARH missiles from different nations are actually capable of. One important note before we begin. We're leaving the Phoenixes and Fokkors out of today's comparison. For now, they're the only true long-range air-to-air missiles in the game, so comparing them directly to medium-range missiles would not be particularly fair. You can open the new menu from the secondary weapons screen by clicking the button to the right of the missile's name. Here you can study its flight graphs and telemetry, but we suggest taking a more visual approach. Using the raw numbers as our starting point, let's rank the missiles by effectiveness, moving from longer engagements to shorter ones. This should make it much easier to see how each weapon performs in different combat situations. For our long-range test, we'll set the launch distance to 50 kilometers. We could go even further, of course, but let's keep the scenario reasonably close to what you might actually encounter in air-realistic battles. We'll set both the launch aircraft and the target to 340 meters per second, or roughly Mach 1. Their altitude will be 7 kilometers, which is also a fairly typical value for top-tier air RB. Now open the Telemetry tab and look at the distance time graph. We can see that the R-77-1, AIM-120D, and C-5, as well as the PL-12A, reach the target ahead of the others. But switch the graph to speed, and another detail becomes obvious. The Russian and Chinese missiles are significantly slower during the terminal stage, by more than 60 meters per second. If we also take the guidance duration from the stat card into account, along with additional GNSS guidance, the AIM-120D comes out as the best option at long range. Now let's reduce the launch distance to 30 kilometers. At this range, the difference in terminal speed becomes much less significant, making both the GNSS-equipped PL-12A and the R-77-1 extremely effective. To simulate close-range combat, let's reduce the distance to 10 kilometers and bring the altitude almost all the way down to sea level. Now we have a new leader, the French Mica. Its top speed is beaten only by the R-77-1, but its acceleration is the best of the group. The French and Russian missiles also stand out thanks to their maneuverability, which makes them particularly dangerous at close range. If we reduce the distance even further, down to just 5 kilometers, the Derby, R-Darter, and AAM-4 also show strong acceleration, even though they fall noticeably behind the competition in longer-range engagements. The early AIM-120 variants deserve a special mention as well. The A and B modifications accelerate more aggressively during the initial stage of flight. This can actually make them more dangerous than the later AMRAAM variants in low-altitude, close-range fights. Because of this, on certain aircraft in combined battles, the AIM-120B may actually be a better choice than the C-5. Of course, a real engagement involves far more variables than any graph can show. The target is unlikely to fly straight towards the threat, and every missile's available G-load changes throughout different stages of its flight. Even so, the new comparison tool makes identifying the strengths and weaknesses of different missiles much easier. Hopefully, it will help you get a better understanding of how War Thunder's missile mechanics actually work. Tell us in the comments which Fox-3 missiles you like the most, and don't get lost in the graphs.